perfect ground doesn't exist. Pubs and good pubs can be traded off against a handy road access or proximity to station, while one fan's trash is another man's beloved treasure. But some things above all grab all of us, such as the historic Stone Stadium, the Centre Calm, beauty spot, a brilliant atmosphere unmatched everywhere else, and we're going to rank the top 10 in the country, starting off with number 10, Wembley Stadium. It may have taken 14 years, but Wembley finally felt like a proper home for the England team at Euro 2020. For the first time, the atmosphere in the ground was really lively, and the arch replaced those iconic twin towers of the old Wembley, but it's more just than a landmark. It supports the roof structure and removing the need for columns, and yeah, that really is a big benefit, and every seat there has a beautiful view, and yeah, I'm really going on new Wembley even now. But moving on then to number 9, and that is Tynecastle. Our Scottish supporters for their favourite away day, and I guarantee you that most will opt for Tynecastle. Well served for public transport, it's a proper ground. The crowd are almost on top of the players, and the stands keep the noise in, and the club's ambitious redevelopment of their main stand was delayed when they forgot to order the seats for it. And yeah, to be honest, I don't mind, because Tynecastle is great as it is. But moving on then to number 8, and that is St James's Park, of course, in Newcastle. The cathedral on the hill, visible from the city centre, is a highlight of the Newcastle skyline. The huge Millburn stone, these stands feel like something out of the Camp Nou. It's a sign of where Newcastle could and should be with this new ownership. But yeah, that's anyway. And yeah, just a quarter of a mile away from the pitch at some places, just ridiculous. But yeah, it just shows how brilliant and massive the stadium is. But moving on then to number 7, and that is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham's £1 billion stadium features the biggest cop end in Europe and NFL capability with a dividing pull-out pitch. It's the most technologically advanced stadium ever constructed, geared to noise and comfort, and certainly puts the experience at the top of the matchday experience. And in-house brewery, making the ground's biggest hub in London. They just need a row of sandwich outlets called, I'll make a certain name up. But moving on then to number 6, and that is Villa Park. From the statue of the Football League founder William McGregor to the magnificent whole end, it oozes history. The spiritual home of the FA Cup semi-final is opposite a stately home, and its grandness shows Villa are still a footballing powerhouse in the UK. And England have only played home games at 2 grounds, Villa Park and Anfield, in 1800, 1900s and 2000s, showing just how good a ground it is. But moving on then to number 5, and the biggest ground, or the biggest club ground in England, Old Trafford. Bobby Charlton wasn't wrong in coining the phrase Theatre of Dreams. England's first holistically planned stadium was reborn in the Canterbury era and post-Trevor Roach report. And yeah, just going there, you can see the size of the ground and everything like that. And yeah, most of the time when United are doing well, which I haven't seen a lot of recently, it really is a special venue. Moving on then to number 4, and that is Craven Cottage. London's oldest ground is an away fan's delight. Its famous cottage doubles up as the changing rooms, while the turnstiles, falls, fell stands are uniquely on the same road. Acoustics are poor, but the old ground was rocking back in the day when Fulham were in the Europa League, and the Riverside stand is now undergoing expansion. And it will be complete in 2022, complete with a rooftop swimming pool. She fancy doing that while watching the football, which is quite an interesting idea. But moving on then to number 3, and that is Anfield. Everton's exit over a rent squad left Anfield available. It's now one of the world's most storied homes, especially on those midweek European nights. Barcelona, wink wink. The huge cop terrace, polarised, witty chanting, and the stands around it have raised it to meet sky-high expectations. And yeah, for Liverpool, it's probably the most iconic ground in England, probably. But moving on then to number 2, and that is Celtic Park. The greats have lined up to rave about the electric atmosphere generated in Glasgow's East End for big games. Steven Gerrard might think differently now, but he once said for an opposition player, it's quite incredible. I've never ever seen a better atmosphere. And yeah, you just need to watch an Old Firm game in the telly, really. Just to see how bloody special that ground is. Yeah, it certainly is. But moving on then to number 1, and that is Ibrox. If you're looking for the best atmosphere in British football, Glasgow is a place, not only for Celtic but for Rangers too. Both European nights and even domestic games such as the Old Firm there are just special and create the best atmosphere. I mean, yeah, just go looking back at some of the recent games, and yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. And maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but it certainly does seem like Scotland have two of the best grounds in the UK. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. So like, share, subscribe, bring your thoughts, comments, down, follow us to this for daily football news, and subscribe to our channel on screen. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.